Are we all ready to see me sob? Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now you will have to excuse the way I look. You're gonna have to bear with me, I literally can't see out of my glasses. Right, we're back. I can see now. So I don't really know how to start this video. You'll have to excuse all the mess. I was in the middle of tidying up and picked my phone up, and a video has been uploaded called The Truth About RoadTrip on a channel that's called Thank You Roadies. So I'm convinced that I'm gonna start crying. That this is probably the end of RoadTrip. That's my prediction. But I guess we'll have to watch the video. It is 40 minutes long again, so this is going to be a really long video again. So let's just get straight into it. It's a sit down video of Rye and Sonny. I can't breathe. Let's go.
It's a very difficult video to have to do, but unfortunately we've been left with no real choice. And we thought it was only right to address all these things publicly and to let you guys know what's actually happened to RoadTrip and what's going to happen.
It's kind of hard seeing you guys online wondering what's going on and us not really wanting to take it publicly, obviously, and hoping it will resolve itself. But obviously it's getting to the point now where you guys kind of deserve and need to know what's going on and what's going to happen with RoadTrip or happening or happened. And yeah,
I think we'll just paint the picture from the start, just so you guys have some clarity as to how the situation has gotten so messy. And then we've got some evidence to show you guys as well, because unfortunately we've received some seriously nasty allegations, especially towards myself, that are completely untrue. And the backlash online, like friends, family, people we've met in the industry all messaging, being like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, it's absolutely disgusting that friends and family are getting backlash.
Grossly unfair.
It's literally the same. I have like 1,001 messages on my phone from, like, as I said, friends, family, that are all like, what's this about, basically? And it's
not right.
A load of false claims that will be, as we said in our videos on Instagram, we said the truth will come out and it will be rectified because the evidence is going to speak for itself. We've tried communicating with the other side, but they seem petrified to talk to us.
Brooklyn Harper and Andy are supposedly advised by Blair's legal team to not communicate with us, or that they are apparently face charges. So Andy's not speaking to them either?
Which is Brooklyn, Harper and Andy. And we're going to just explain sort of what's happened.
You are joking
a few weeks
me?
Ago, we've known for a long time this band has always struggled financially. To be perfectly open and honest, we've always made about half a minimum wage each. We never made any money doing RoadTrip. We always put it back into the business to try and give itself opportunity, whilst management took 25% of gross income. So we never left with anything for ourselves. And it went on very reasonable expenses, like the videographers, the stylists, the people we work with, all did it very cheap. Like, they didn't, like, below mates rates to help us out because they believed in the vision. We lived in a house, had to accommodate for a lot of people, which is much cheaper when you share a house together than living in, all of us living in individual flats, especially if you have to be in London as well.
Oh my God, Sonny,
again,
so
which was
sad
advised by management. And there's all these, like, very fair points from the band's point of view that have led to a place where we were like, financially, this can't keep going. It just doesn't work. There's too much money being paid out.
It's just come to a stalemate. Like, we didn't really ever have the funds to, like, progress to the next level. We were just kind of stuck where we were. And we couldn't.
This makes so much sense.
The stuff that we were paying out for, like, everything was on the cheap. Like, as Rye said, the people that were working for us, ourselves, like, as I said, we're taking, like, below minimum wage.
And for anyone else to say the house is a big expense, it's not, because there's 9 people that had to cater for RoadTrip, and you split a house of this size into 9, and it works out to be about 600-700 quid a head, which is way cheaper than if you had to live in a 1 or even 2 bed flat in London.
Yeah.
So it all made sense, and this was stuff that we all decided as a group. Like, we'd always decide on these things, but like we said, management took from gross income 25%, which didn't leave a great deal for us to play with as profit or to self-invest. And then knowing that, we saw the future of RoadTrip, and with the coronavirus and stuff, meant no touring or events or anything like that, which is a large part of the band's income.
You don't think about this, do you?
It was a case of us coming to a place in July where we wouldn't be able to afford rent or even afford food and things like that. So we had to come up with a sort of a new model. And Brooke actually started this. He was fed up with the band anyway.
To be fair, I've been... Well, myself personally, Harper had mentioned to me that Brooke kept mentioning about wanting to be like, and quote, the Sidemen, and do like a YouTube group. Apparently for a while he'd been like in and out of this state of mind where he was kind of done with the band, basically.
And everyone was in a similar position, like, regardless of people wanting, like, even if people wanted to do the bands, like, no one was putting in the work ethic to make the band work. So it wasn't going to work anyway, even if everyone, like, wanted to do it, it wasn't going to work. You need to put in so much time and graft to make something like this, like, happen, especially on a successful level, that if no one's doing it, even if they want to do it, you don't really have a choice, man. If there's no money left to fund it all, then that's it. It's like, it's a band, but it also has to be a business, like, or it doesn't survive. And that's where it got to. So, but we came up with a solution that was really cool, where we'd all, we'd stop paying the videographers. We would come to an amicable end with Blair and management, and we'd stop trading and touring as a RoadTrip brand, and we'd all do our individual things and come together in like a group environment, kind of like the Sidemen and these other sort of like entities that are out there, and we get to keep spending time with each other. And the videographers would be happy. And this is a reference to this contract thing that apparently I put on everyone, and suppose you said I want to manage the band and steal it from Blair. It was never the case. I literally, because I've always been that guy in the band that deals with the sort of business side of things and the structure and like making sure that there's always something that's happening on a daily basis and like trying to build the band and the brand that is RoadTrip. So it was on my shoulders to be like, right, let's come up with a solution. Like, it only made sense that I was the one that had to deliver some sort of solution, and we needed some sort of draft agreement between us so that we were protected going forwards. And it was a draft agreement. It wasn't a managerial contract. There was nothing in there that stated Ryan gets a commission on managing the band. And more than happy at some point to put this contract out there if you guys want to see it. But
which wasn't even a contract.
It's not a contract.
It's a written up draft mutual agreement.
Did it in like 5 minutes just to start a conversation of going, right, how do we want to work this going forwards? Like, how do we want to split up the company?
In layman's terms, it was essentially a piece of paper that said, look, if we all live together, right, we need to do some rules. We can't have a bunch of people that essentially sponge off everyone and then don't ever want to contribute to ideas or be in the videos.
Exactly.
So when we live together, is everyone happy to basically abide by these rules? And I can tell you now, it was simple things like each person has to be in at least 4 videos a month and things like that. It wasn't anything crazy.
And as for the videographers or my friends coming in, the reason I brought my friends into this, because I was trying to provide solutions that are cost effective for talent that I knew, people who would come in and help build this thing, because it costs a lot of money to pay videographers. Like, it's a lot. Like, even if it's just 500 quid a day, that ends up being a lot when we're a brand that needs a lot of content and scale. So we built a situation with them where it worked financially for us. They were happy, and they get to live somewhere. Like, it was a win-win situation in the band. Then moving into this new thing where we couldn't then afford to pay them and they weren't then working for RoadTrip, it only made sense and everyone was in agreement. There's a majority agreement from the band. I know me, Sonny and Andy were very vocal about this being completely fair terms. Harper and Brooklyn also somewhat agreed to it, but they were a bit more sceptical because they were worried about them missing out on money, which wasn't the case at all. But essentially we couldn't pay the videographers, so they'd have to come and be a part of the group so that we could still use their skill sets, because none of us guys can produce content at that level. So what were we going to do? Make a social media group that uses their iPhones and maybe some like shoddy SLR cameras and some edits.
And again, just to be like transparent and honest, there was actually like like a part of this mutual agreement that actually said any member of RoadTrip earned more than the videographers.
Everyone in RoadTrip would have earned more than the videographers still, and it wouldn't affect their individual revenue stream. So, like, if they want to sell their own merch and do their own thing, they would still make a considerable amount of that before anyone else like touched it. It was, but managed by someone like myself, which is where the management thing seems to come into it. I would get a £500 payment each month to make sure, essentially, that it all survives for everyone. So I have the burden, the responsibility of making sure that everyone's okay, running the financials, running the business side of it, and also looking after everyone. And not to mention, I'm the guarantor on the house that we live in. All these kinds of things, these responsibilities. It's only fair that if I've got to do all of that with my time, why shouldn't I get some sort of compensation for it? Like, even though it's only 500 quid a month, and it was an expense before, like anything else, that would come out of the group thing, not individuals, but from the group thing we were creating. It was a very fair situation.
It's just basically Rye saying, I'll take care of all the bullshit paperwork that you guys don't want to deal with that takes ages. It didn't mean that Rye tells us what videos we've got to film.
Well, and handling like the manufacturers and potential brand deals and things like that, things that take a lot of time. And also some risk as well. Being a guarantor on a property, I'm not sure how much you guys might know about this, but you're the one that's liable to pay the rent if no one else does, which is the situation we've been left in now. I'm the guarantor on this place, and I've got to find the rent for it because it's all been taken away. Everything's been taken away from us, and we're the ones left in the shit. But either way, the contract was a very fair agreement that looked after everyone's best interest. No specific person was earning more than anyone else. It was the band was looked after better than the videographers, but they could join forces in building something together so that everyone could afford their livelihood, especially in the hard, like, coronavirus times where there's not really a great deal of business flying around. It was a good situation. Everyone was on board with it. Everyone agreed with it, and Brooklyn was a massive advocate for it and actually instigated it in the first place.
I can imagine Brooke coming up with this.
Because no one else really wanted to do the band. Like, the band had come to, like Sonny was saying, a stalemate for a long time, and Shepherd's Bush was a wicked thing to do. But all of us were in the same headspace, so it was like, what do we really do next? Like, what can we do? What do we want to do? And then the coronavirus happened, and it's kind of like, well, this has sort of made our decision for us. And then beyond that, we then had to obviously approach Blair with this once we had an idea, and to have an amicable conversation of which we have some voice recordings from, which we're going to show you guys, so you can see the proof and what the actual mental state was. No one was intimidated, as they're trying to claim online. No one was forced. There was no me trying to manage the whole thing. I had no interest in managing, like, RoadTrip. Like, there's a good argument to say that I pretty much did that in the band for a long time anyway. I don't want to continue doing that. It was just a completely fair situation. And then after we had that big group conversation, Blair was very adamant on speaking to everyone individually. And then a few days went by, and then the boys run out the house in the middle of the night. And
they
don't hear anything.
They screwed everyone. Like, they've run away from, like I said, this is a business. Like, at the end of the day, Brooke and Harper are part owners of this business. They have responsibilities on the rent and the people that live here, and, like, the band pays for the food that is in the house and all of that sort of things. And they've just run away from it. And there's, like, it's stressful here. Like, people have no money now because they've gone online. They've completely killed all the revenue streams and basically more so slandered Rye. Like, people, like, the film guys are in the office at, like, early hours of the morning, like, just filming random things online to try and get bits of work off of people because no one has no money because they've run away from all their responsibilities and just let it all collapse.
This is actually awful.
And then aided in having more money taken out of the account. Like, we literally do not have money for bills or food for the next 2 months.
Yeah, very nasty things have happened. And we tried to give them a week to make up for it, which we thought was fair. Like, redeem what you said online because you know it's false, and then be responsible behind the scenes and commit to your responsibilities. And they have decided not to do that or communicate with any reasonable fashion, so we're forced to do this video. But here's some recordings from that conversation that we had on the 24th of April, where all of us got together as a five and called Blair and let him know what it is we needed and wanted to do as a group. And here's me, I basically explained what the situation sort of was on behalf of everyone, which everyone was in agreement on. It just makes sense that one person kind of delivers it, and then you can hear everyone agreed, bar Andy in this. Andy was on the phone in the recording because obviously he's still in Stockport. But here is.
I think it has come now for us. There's not really like an issue or anything specific. We're just like kind of fed up with it, and yeah, that's kind of our standpoint. But I don't want to be the only one that says it. So maybe like to hear it for everyone else as well.
I'm in the same boat as Rye as well, Blair. This is Brooke.
Yeah, all five of us have spoken, and yeah, something we all agreed on.
It's kind of come to a stalemate for us, like it's.
Yeah, that and financially we are literally on tethers, and we're just.
And that's, you can hear 4 out of 5 people agreeing this is something we want to do, like in terms of ending the band and starting.
Brooke goes straight in after Rye.
I don't think we love being in a band. Like the majority of us are just a bit like sick of it, like trying to be like something that we're not, basically.
I mean, I guess.
And there's Brooklyn saying, don't want to be in a band, you know, and now they're trying to say we want to be in a band and do all this other stuff. It's like if you, you
God,
can't, like manipulate people in that way. Like you have, if you say something and you mean it, and then you take action upon that, and you have to stick to it. Like be responsible.
I'm actually shocked.
More and more.
Okay, basically, Blair, we've come up with a plan for a week, and because we respect you, like, we don't want to, like, disrespect you in any way. Basically, that's what we're saying. We're saying as in, like, if we can do it so that we are still amicable and we're still, like, friends and, like, there's no fallouts. But, like, basically, yeah, if we just leave RoadTrip behind for what it was and we carry on doing what we're doing in the future, same with you, doing what you're doing, like, then that's the best outcome for all of us. Rye actually didn't come to me. I actually came to Rye after me and you spoke in the studio with Harper. And I spoke to Rye, and I said that I was being a bit of a dick, I was being a bit miserable and stuff. And quite frankly...
This is referring to what Blair's trying to say to Harper and Brooklyn, and from what we can understand is, and Harper and Brooklyn have said, that I tried to fire them a few months ago. That wasn't exactly what happened. I'll admit that was somewhat in my intention, but it wasn't to just fire them and be like, you're fired. I don't have that authority to do that. It has to be a group decision as to anything like that happens. But Harper and Brooklyn know they were acting like shit for ages, just not contributing to ideas, being a negative presence. Being quite rude to everyone,
could see
and
that.
just sitting in their rooms playing games. And this happened for months.
And this wasn't a secret. Like
no,
we sat down in the pool. Like all of us sat down in the pool. We did a similar thing. We phoned up Andy again. Andy was on the phone, and all 5 of us sat down and spoke about it in the pool. Because it was resolved.
Because it's a business, like, and a band. Like everyone has to contribute. And if you're not, and you're actually trying to like make it harder for everyone, you have to answer for that. Like people can't just be like, oh, you're in the band. It's all right. Someone has to say at some point, well, do you want to be here or do you not want to be here? Because at the moment, you being here is worse than if you weren't here. And it's a very tricky situation in a band because it's a brand as well as a business. It's not like a normal job where you can't just fire people. And never did I want to fire them for any personal reason. Like, I love Brooke. I've known him for so long. And, you know, sacrificed a lot for him and also been there for him in, like, some really hard times and in all the best of times. Like, I wouldn't just ever want to fire someone or, like, encourage the firing of someone for no reason. There was good grounds to do it, and here's him admitting that those were good grounds because they were acting like shit. And we all had a big conversation about it for, like, 2 hours.
And he said it was because he was falling out of love with the band.
Yeah. And
being in the band.
And here it is again.
Rye actually didn't come to me. I actually came to Rye after me and you spoke in the studio with Harper. And I spoke to Rye, and I said that I was being a bit of a dick, I was being a bit miserable and stuff. And quite frankly, I was like, and I genuinely think that's because of the band. And Rye openly admitted as well that he doesn't have the passion for the band as well. So that's what that's. And other people as well, with the financial situation that's happening with the band, other people are also saying that, like the other members.
Yeah, and that's true. I did say that, and I'm man enough to stick by that. Like, I lost the passion for the band as time went on because, I mean, if you got no real income from it, and you know other people are making a considerable income from it, and you've got everyone in the band who doesn't want to be there, and it's like a negative energy, then eventually you lose a passion for something. Love the idea of building a band and like touring the world and like seeing you guys. Like that's the great stuff, but you have to sacrifice a lot for those things to happen, and the sacrifice became too much, especially after you've done it for 5 years.
Wait, before we carry, just to like give you guys an idea to the extent of this, I don't really know if I should say this, but I'm going to anyway. The month of March, no, before March, where we did Shepherd's Bush, the month of February, the band had to dip into budget that we had set aside elsewhere for videos and like props and whatnot, because the band could only afford to pay its members £70. £70. Like, don't get me wrong, we love what we do and we appreciate everything that goes on, but like we know that this isn't going to last forever, and at the end of the day, when you're making £70 a month, whoa, because your money has to go elsewhere, like you're going to finish this and have nothing left. Like we need to be able to have like go on and have families and whatnot. Like we can't finish this with like 140 quid in our bank.
And another point in this conversation was Blair was trying to advocate that there's a record deal on the table, and use this record deal as a way to persuade everyone to stick in the band and to stay around. We've heard this story many times over the last few years, like almost every 6 months there's a record deal, and it never comes around. We don't know why. We've gone to a few meetings and things like that, but we've never managed to secure the deal, which has always baffled us because we did everything right. We sacrificed so much and gave so much to this thing, and so did you guys as well. Like, you guys supported us
I've never
like a
understood.
crazy amount, and it's so like crap that this is the way it has to end. And just please don't remember this stuff. Like this is the bullshit at the end of bands, but like there were some great things in the middle that we can all treasure forever. But eventually you do have to say no. Like, no, we're not waiting for that next record deal, because we've heard this story many times. We have to protect ourselves. And so here's the next one.
The band isn't feasible. I agree that the band isn't feasible financially, but as I've said, if we can find a solution to keep it going, I prefer that, but I know the other members don't feel the same, so there's no point in carrying on something that people don't care about.
So that's Andy also agreeing that it's not a financial situation we can sustain, and saying that he would like to continue Road Trip if there's a solution. The problem is like it's easy to sit on the fence and be like, yeah, I want to do it, but like I'm not going to necessarily contribute to finding a solution to saving the band. Like it's an easy place to sit. Like something needed to happen, or we all just end and go home. Like no one wanted to go home. We wanted to continue a situation where we lived together and worked together and still had fun. So we came up with that situation. But
this is what's kind of upsetting.
We can argue about this.
Sorry. For me, is like this situation was like pretty much not forced upon us, but like we didn't really have much of a choice with the finances. And as I said, everyone was falling out of love with it. And for me, Rye was the only person that put not only his best interests, but the people around him's interests like at heart as well. And he tried to come up with a situation where everyone could still do what they like doing, everyone could do things and collaborate as a group, but could carry on, do their own thing. If they wanted to do music on the side and do whatever they wanted to do on their own, that was fine. I'm pretty sure we even mentioned, like, if anyone wants to still carry on with Blair and do a music thing with Blair, like, that's absolutely cool. And the fact that everything has just gone online and been massively, like,
blown out proportion,
twisted, and just, I don't know, it's just been worded in a way that I think makes Rye look bad, and it shows, because I've seen what fans are saying and they believe it. And for me, I can't really just sit round and watch that happen when Rye, realistically, is the only one out of this whole situation that has looked out for anyone's best interests, as well as himself. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We can argue about this for ages. The thing is that none of us want to do this anymore. That's basically the bottom line, is that none of us want to do this anymore.
None of us want to do it.
But financially, we can't afford to just carry on going like this, because no one knows when this is over. We can't just be like, cool, there's a record deal there.
Just again mention this record deal, waiting out for one. We can't financially afford to wait out, so what do? Just wait until we hit zero, and then we're like, oh, we didn't even get the record deal either. Like, then it's end of everything. So this is a situation where it's like, hopefully there's something for us to do.
But I think, like I said earlier, I don't think it makes I was sick thinking about that, being in a band.
Is Brooke agreeing that it makes you feel sick being in a band?
100%. Like, we want to stay amicable, but none of us, like, I speak for myself, like, none of us want to, like, we're not interested. They might be interested in us, but we're not interested. We want to do our own thing. We're not interested in potentially getting a deal now. That's what it is. That's what it's come down to.
So this deal was the carrot that was used the whole way through this conversation, and has been used a lot through the band as like a do it for the deal, get this record deal, and which never happened. And obviously we didn't believe it was gonna happen, especially considering coronavirus was the new situation as well.
Sorry if that went a bit funny then, my phone was gonna run out of charge.
Let's not put this on Rye because, bear in mind, I went to Rye.
So Blair was trying to say that Rye's been manipulating the situation to make everyone feel a certain way.
Oh my
Which
god, so he
we
said
all
that
knew
on a
wasn't the
call?
case. And this was Brooke backing up that point.
Bro, mate, let's not put this on Rye because, bear in mind, I went to Rye and I said this to him and I was like, bro, is there something like, can we come to an agreement with Blair and potentially still doing something like else? And then that's, I spurred it. It was me. It wasn't right.
I don't think that could be more black and white.
That Brooke came up with the idea completely.
It takes one vlog that you have to watch and you just see how everyone's emotions are just so fucking dampened because of what we're doing at the moment. Like, we don't want to do this. Like, we're probably more miserable than doing a part-time job, if need be.
What? I don't see
think
that.
He expressed like how he was feeling, how everyone was feeling at the time. Like no one wanted to continue it, regardless of what people say about wanting to do it again now. No one wanted to, and actions were taken that you can't really take back.
Yeah, like the business was shut.
Which is stupid.
The company ended.
The problem is we don't want to be a boy band.
Oh my god.
I think the feeling of us waiting for one and like just waiting for an answer is just stressful. Like just mentally, bro. Like we'd rather just say no now.
That's the idea of waiting out for a record deal.
It seems like Brooke was saying so much.
How I'm completely cool with the fact that if all the boys, and if I was the only one that wanted to go, and all the boys wanted to carry on with Blair and go and procure a record deal, that's fine with me. Like this is literally what I said.
I'll happily, and I'm more than happy to let the four boys and yourself, I can only speak for myself, procure that situation if it's something that they want to do. But for me, I just know it's not the road for me, even if they offered the best deal on the planet.
It's pretty fair, and then Brooklyn and Sonny.
Either way, I'd just like to let you know while we're on subject that I'm the same as Rye. If you're going to pursue that and the other lads want to take that opportunity, that's fair enough.
And I'm in the same boat as well, bro. I'm not really interested.
We've already done it,
mate. Bro, we've literally, like I said, I went to Rye and said this. Like, this is from, like, I'm the same.
So Brooke is defending
Rye.
Rye.
The situation. I mean, that's all we need to show for now. I think that shows quite fairly that what's been said online is false, and that it was a group decision, and it was completely amicable. And at the end of that conversation, it was only a few days later, and Bled stressed at the end of that conversation to speak to everyone individually, and we know he did at length. And then some accusations were thrown around behind the scenes, which will be rectified as well. And then the boys ran out in the middle of the night, and they claimed they were intimidated. But they literally were fine. Like 1 day before they left was when we filmed that vlog, the vlog where we guess the movie.
Oh yeah.
The charades vlog. And then the next day they were completely fine. There was no issues. They came to me on multiple occasions, asking to be paid early. And then they asked you for your Splice password, didn't they? To get like
me for some
production sounds. And they were completely fine, cool, and happy with everything. But behind the scenes, they must have known what was going on because they'd organised someone to come to the house and pick them up in the middle of the night. And then they just gone
So it wasn't
and left
Blair?
their room in an absolute state. They took some equipment with them and left us all dry. And we literally like, what is going on? Sonny was at home at this time as well, dealing with like some like serious personal stuff, and they've been trying to hound Sonny and Andy to like believe all these false claims. behind the scenes. There were some other things that were said, and there was no evidence to support it. So Sonny was like, well, if you've got no evidence, then like, why are you just trying to like manipulate my decision making? And I'll let you speak on that.
I just found the whole situation a bit like seedy. I don't know, like, for those of you that don't know, like, I recently lost like 3 family members in quite a short space of time, like across like 2 weeks, and it was just like messages from like Blair and Harper, like, yeah man, thinking of you today man, all of what's going on aside, like, hope you're good, by the way, give us a call, we've got some stuff to show you, like as if they've got some sort of like dirt on Rye. I'm like, I just don't really like need it, like, I don't know. And then in fairness, I didn't get a shitty one from Brooke or Harper, but then the second they found out I wasn't going to essentially run away with them, I got some long-ass message from Blair about how I'm the most disloyal piece of shit he's ever met, and how he should never have given me a chance, and I'm the only one he's going to message because I've taught him a life lesson about how to never give people second chances and all of this. And I'm like, dude, I just want to be like the situation is essentially you're trying to force me to employ you as a manager. I cannot afford you because you kind of have the rest of the money, and I just want to be left alone. You're kind of trying to slate me and like the people I want to go on to work with, and I can't just sit there and let you lie about it. Like, I'm just going to say it's not true, and just please leave me alone to carry on and do my thing. Like, that's all I really want from the situation. And for everyone to just go off and do their own thing, like, after this, like, we want it to be a situation where you can watch whatever I do, watch whatever Rye does, Brooklyn, Harper, Andy, go support them, doing whatever they're doing, and we just kind of want to be left alone without the false stuff online and the lies.
Yeah, it's
to do our thing. Like.
It's just it's just dirty games that they're trying to play to, I guess, win over you guys, but it's false, and we've got plenty more evidence that we're more than happy to share if they continue to try and attack us with false claims, and more than happy to show everyone exactly what's gone on, to the detail. But I think you guys get the overarching kind
100%.
of story. And once they did post those things online on the band Instagrams, obviously we then posted something very amicable just to protect ourselves and just stress that these are false claims. We then tried our hardest to communicate with them, and they'd all been petrified into not speaking to us. So we then took it upon ourselves, after a few days had passed, to go and drive to Andy, and obviously respecting the 2 metre barrier, and we sat out in the garden, and we spoke over everything, and Andy acknowledges that the claims are false, and he knows they are, but is unfortunately too scared to leave Blair and do the right thing, which is tricky. It leaves us in a tricky situation where it's like, we can't stick up for the right thing, and like how can, it's hard for us to support that. Like, you have to stick up for the right thing.
Sonny looks so upset.
Especially when you're seeing your mate be slated online for these lies and you don't speak out about it.
Yeah, that's what kind of disappointed me about that. Not like, if you wanted to work with Blair, that's cool, but I just don't see how you can see something like that go online about someone you know and you work with,
That's
knowing
exactly.
their flaws, admitting their flaws, and then just outright being like, I'm not going to say anything.
Exactly what
Just
I
to let
said.
people believe it's true.
And then we went to Brooklyn Harper's as well, or Brooklyn's house, and he was told not to speak to us. So we didn't meet him, but sat down with his parents and told them about the situation, and they also acknowledged that they understand everything and they don't believe the claims. But unfortunately they're stuck because they don't know what else Brooklyn can do, and Brooklyn's kind of being trapped into this situation, and it's just shit. There's no other way of really explaining it, but we don't want this to be like the most negative thing ever. Again, there's bigger concerns in the world to worry about, but obviously this got to a place online where we were getting so much hate for stuff that is just like it's shocking.
And we didn't even want this to be online in the first place.
No.
Like this, we were trying to deal with this behind the scenes. But I just started receiving a load of phone calls from everyone. Like, have you seen what Brooke and Harper have put online? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and he was tweeting.
But at the end of the day, I think their ambition, what they've said, is they want to take the social medias and find and take the band and road trip and go and do some tours and some things like that. And we're just like, nah, that's just not right. Like, you can't bully people, attack them, and then try and take everything away from them. And we have no intention of using the band's social medias to like change them into a new thing for us. Like, that's not what we want to do. We think that if everyone can't have them, then no one gets them. And they should just be left there in time for you guys and us to watch back and look at some of the great memories, and that will be the stuff we cherish in the future, not any of this short-term gain. And you know, everyone's more than welcome to be promoted on there, because that's only fair. You put in so many years into something, you should be able to promote yourselves off those platforms. But they, like, the idea of them taking road trip, going to stick some new members in it, and going on some tours, is just not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair, and it's not right, especially under the conditions that it's been forced upon us. So hence why we locked them out, to stop them from. We didn't know what else they're going to do. What if they start deleting like a load of content that has taken years, a hell of a lot of money and time put into, and just delete all that and erase it from history? Like, it's just not going to happen. So we just left it all there.
I guess what we're trying to say is in the like, I don't know, the nicest way possible. Road trip is finished, and we wanted to do it nicely, and we essentially don't want to let people go off and, in our opinion, ruin it. Not only for.
Sorry guys, the phone cut out, so we're using a different phone.
But yeah, that's, I guess what we're trying to say is road trip is finished, and we want to kind of, despite what's been done online, do the best we can and make out of a bad situation, kind of leave road trip in time, have, you know, the doc as the last thing that went up, and have all the nice memories on there for everyone to look at, and everyone can promote themselves on it that was in the band. But other than that, like, no one goes off, makes new bands and does anything. We leave that as it is.
Unless they want to do it outside of road trip. If Blair wants to take those boys and go and do something else and start up a new thing, then do whatever you want to do. But don't take road trip and rinse it for what it's worth and the fans. Like, it's just not fair for anyone, and it shouldn't be, you know, the way the business or music is run. But we're gonna, you know, go and start something new and go do something that we want to do with with our mates, and aside from road trip, and do something completely different. Because, well, one, we want to, and two, obviously, we don't want to stop doing the thing that we love, which is making content, entertaining you guys, doing bits of music here and there, and we're looking forward to that stuff. And we'll let you guys know about that in some time. But for now, we're really sorry that this had to come out. Like, someone had to say it. Like, you know, that no one was speaking out about the truth. So it's only fair that you guys get to hear it, and, you know, make your own assumptions as to what you think happened. We just thought it'd be good to show you some of the evidence. And like we said, if the other side want to come at us with some more attacks and false claims, then we'll just happily release everything so that you can see exactly what happened. It's not our opinion, it's what happened. And that's it, really.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose with that said, you know, hopefully in a few years or something, that, you know, this can all be forgotten about, like, personally in between us, because that aside, like, you know, the band did some proper cool things. I'd like to think we made quite a few people smile along the way, you know, and help some people make friends and whatnot. And I'd like to just say on behalf of myself, thank you for everything you've done for the band, and thank you for allowing us to live out some mental dreams that I'm pretty sure none of us ever thought we would achieve. So, yeah, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you guys. And, you know, I'm sure you'll be seeing us soon. And for now, just try and, like, keep the negativity out of your brain, and focus on the positives in your own lives. And I'm sure this situation will sort itself out in due course. But yeah, we love you, and I'm sorry that this is the way it had to end. But all great things come to an end. Peace.
Oh my god. So, my initial thing of when all this was coming out, and obviously I've always said that none of this happened in one day. like this must have been like a plan for months, which is what they have just confirmed, that yes, it was a plan for months. And then obviously my thing then was, why did they release all of this? They released like 58 pieces of merch on the 19th of April, and like my thing was, why have they done that when the ban was ending? But from that, they had no other choice but to release merch. They had to make money somehow. Like, that was them trying to rescue the band. And obviously then with all of this happening with Brooke and Harper, there's no way back for the band. And I think it will hit me again later. It always does. Like, just as I'm about to go to sleep, it'll hit me. Yeah, I have so much respect for Sonny and Rye. Many people will know that Rye has never really been my favourite person in the world, but from that, I have so much respect for Sonny and Rye. And Andy is kind of in the middle for me at the minute. Like, if he actually comes out and says something, like, I respect him not saying anything. He hasn't been horrible online about anything. He hasn't unfollowed anyone. But him just being kind of in the middle, and he is on Blair's side, is just a bit like, But Harper and Brooke at the minute, they need to come out and say something, because it's not right. It's not right that this was all Brooke's idea. Like, and honestly, when it came out, I was like, this is something that Brooke would say, like a whole YouTube house thing. And that just confirmed the fact that it was Brooke's idea, and then he's twisted it and saying it's Rye's. Like, I just don't get it. And like, the video that they filmed, the movie one, they all seemed so happy. So I just don't get it. Obviously, this is the end of Road Trip. They're all going to do their own things now. Like, I'm glad that they're not just completely ending. Obviously, I'm going to carry on supporting them. Like, I'll forever support Sonny anyway. We all know that. But I will try and support all of them. But I do want to hear what Brooke and Harper have to say after that video. Like, I hope they're sat there watching it right now and being like, oh, we've messed up here and we've got to say something. They're probably going to go silent for quite a few days, but I will look forward to seeing what the next thing that they all post will be. And I know that as I was filming this, Sonny tweeted saying he's got content ready, and Roy uploaded a video on Instagram, so I'm going to go check all of that out now. And yeah, I will edit this. I will try and make it short, because I didn't really say a lot. I just really wanted to listen to what they were saying, and obviously, like, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything and that I completely understood what they're saying. And honestly, I have so much respect for them. And Shepherd's Bush and the documentary is the best way to end the band. And obviously, that was always going to be the end. This is what we have to remember. That this was always going to be the end of the band. And just the way that Blair, Harper and Brooke have twisted the situation has just made it so much worse and into this negative thing. So, yeah. And oh my god, somebody's just posted a photo. I'm going to end this video and go and check out all their content and give them all the support that they deserve, because, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you guys for watching this video. I did try and film a video about the whole situation before, and I never uploaded it. And I did say at the end of that obviously I don't know what's going to happen with this channel now. I'll react to any content that any of them bring out. I also might do some just normal videos on here now, seeing as there's not going to be as much content and regular as it ever used to be. But yeah, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for watching me, and please give this a like, subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys.